What's your job title? So when I'm introducing you.
Yeah, so it's event project manager at Pride in London and then event manager at the University of East London. So UEL is my full-time and voluntary is for Pride.
Okay. Cool. And then the other thing, do you want me to tell you how long you've got? So say when it gets like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, pop it in your app. So
yeah, absolutely. Go for it. Yeah. I'll probably be speaking really fast anyway, so it'll probably finish in 10 minutes.
So.
Keep pushing me.
I'm going to just turn my video off because no one wants to see my face today, but I am still here, just so you know.
Cool. Coffee shops are working now. I'm feeling happier. I can't believe I forgot to do that. Still trying to work out the flow of these things. But yeah, anyway, you'd think I'd got it by now.
How many have you got left?
How many more sessions?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm not even sure. I'm doing this now where I chat and then disappear and record your sessions until 6 tonight, and then that's the same tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
So, yeah, we had full Monday to Sunday sessions, and so we've had a full week of it. It's great.
Whose bright idea was that, Jamie?
To have a whole week.
Yeah, I remember being in this conversation at the time.
At the start, it was like, wouldn't it be great if we could have 2 days of content? Or even just one day would be fun. And then it just ended up getting bigger and bigger. And then I think everyone else got, because at the beginning, Nashville were going, oh, we're not going to be able to sort many sessions out. I remember this happening. And then all of a sudden, the next week coming back and being like, yeah, we've got 10 sessions. And nobody else had sorted anything else out yet. So then it became a competition, I think, which is why we've got so many. So I think you're partly to blame for this, Becky.
I wish I hadn't said anything now. Sensible idea to do it in handover week for all student unions, because that's fun.
Yeah.
That seemed like a really good idea at the time. I was like, yeah, we can use it as like an opportunity to hand over stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm mega excited. I think this was a good idea.
People can use it as part of their inductions and stuff. That's what everyone was saying at the time. And then
that was the plan.
I think some people are doing that. It has been set as a bit of work for some of the new subs, but
we definitely are. On the chairs stuff, even my staff members were there, which was good. So we have definitely been rolling out all of our community. It was a lot to load for people. Luckily for furlough, I guess, is what's saved NASFA, because most of our staff are furloughed.
Yeah.
So much NASFA full time. It's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Big advantage having people sitting around twiddling their thumbs and wanting to do something useful.
Literally. Yeah.
What are your roles then? Are you solely NASFA?
So I'm NASFA chair. I'm at Christchurch Student Union.
Oh, amazing.
Hence the transition-y thing. It's a big one, especially during COVID.
Absolutely,
We're making
yeah.
redundancies left, right, and center. There's all stuff in student ops fest. Focus on that. Jamie, do you have to let people in?
I was just about to say, we'll start letting people in. You're a bit crackly.
I don't know why my internet's really bad. Luckily, I don't have to talk. So what I'll do is just put everything in the chat and try not to talk.
Cool. I'm going to disappear now, and then we'll let people in, and you'll see their attendee number trickle up. And
okay, no worries.
And then you'll be ready to go.
Cheers, thanks.
Everyone, welcome. Just going to wait for some people to join us. We've got Megan, James, Ella. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
That's it. We'll keep going. Still got people trickling in.
That's good. I thought we were going to be on 5, so that's good.
You're way more interested than that, Carly.
Yeah. I better make it interesting. Oh, good.
Okay, we're at kind of 38. Right. I tell you what, we'll call it kind of trickling a little bit. So we've got Carly Owen with us, who is events project manager at Pride and events manager at East London. Is that right? University UEL?
That's correct, yeah, UEL.
Lovely. Yeah. Okay, lovely. So Carly's going to talk to us about events sort of in a virtual world and how we're going to make it more innovative and different, and hopefully get some ideas and things. I'm going to stop talking, but if you've got any questions, please drop it in the chat. There's also a coffee shop afterwards as well. So we're at table 1 in the coffee joint you on conversation. So without further ado, take it away.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Becky. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Like I said, I thought there was only going to be 5 people here, so that's amazing. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to share my screen now. I think I might cut out, but I'll cut back in a little while. 1 second. Should be able to see my screen. Just put it in the chat box if you're struggling to see it, and me and Becky will try and sort it. So yeah, as Becky said, I'm the event project manager for Pride in London. This is a voluntary role, but I've been doing this for a few months now, and it's pretty much full time. Anybody who volunteers will know that it does take up a lot of time. So it's been a saving grace throughout lockdown to have this to focus on. And then my full time role is event manager at the University of East London. But I'll give you a bit of background about me a little bit later on. We just go on to the next slide. So how the session works, ask your questions using the chat. We should be finished on scheduled time because I'll be talking really fast. But if you need me to slow down, just tell Becky to give me a nudge. The session is being recorded, and then I'll see you in the coffee shop if you've got any questions later, or you want to extract anything from my brain that I may have missed or you may have missed. So outcomes of the session, God, there's a lot there, but I swear to God, it won't be a lot. I'll give you a bit of background as to who I am. Why am I talking to you today about virtual events? Why am I talking to you about Pride? Why is it important? The positives of going virtual. Virtual events have kind of been pushed on us because of the pandemic, and there's a lot of negativity around, but there are so many positives with going virtual, and anything is possible. And I really want you to take that away from this session today with a lot of hints and tips of all of the demos that I've been sat in my full-time role and voluntary role, and hopefully that you'll be able to take away some really creative ideas from it. Lots of different platforms out there at the minute that we can use, so hopefully there'll be something that either with a limited budget or if you've got a little bit of budget to spare, you can take a look at. All about accessibility and inclusivity, the Unity Fund, active allyship, and coming out and staying in, which is all to do with Pride and Pride in London and Pride's near you, so I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. later on. So yeah, a bit of background about me. This is a bit of a mini timeline of my kind of progression through higher education. So I graduated from UCLan, which is in Preston. For you Northerners out there, as you can tell, I'm not from the South, even though I'm now living in London. I graduated from UCLan in sports studies, and there I did lots of varsities, Preston City sports games, managed lots of student leagues in work. That led me on to, after graduation, working at Manchester Metropolitan University, where I was then the student activities assistant there, so doing all of things, looking after the clubs, looking after the societies, looking after RAG, and doing all the tours and excursions that come with that. When I reached Huddersfield in 2014, this is when it really ramped up fundraising for me. There was no RAG society at Huddersfield University when I started, and there was a massive gap. Lots of charities were contacting us, as they will be with you, saying, we want to be a part of the university. So I put on a RAG week, and it was the first RAG week that happened at Huddersfield University in many years, and I think we raised about £4,000, £5,000 in a week, which is still a lot of money. I know you guys have probably done thousands more, but at that time, for that week long worth of events, it was amazing. We did things like inter-society and inter-sport league. So we had the American football team doing Quidditch, Harry Potter doing American football. We did a society varsity. So society varsity is something that I wanted to do for so long. Sports have their varsity and they compete, but societies, they were missing that competitive element. So we did like the gaming society at Huddersfield against the gaming society against Bradford, and different societies, and it worked really well. So take that kind of, I hope that kind of like sparks some kind of creativity, and hopefully you can take it back to your SU. And then I moved down to London, made the big move to Queen Mary University, where again I was looking after societies and RAG events there. And then I dipped my toe into the voluntary sector with Enhance the UK, which is a disability charity, which I'll talk a little bit about more later. And I travelled all over the world, training youths in disability, fundraising events. I raised a lot of money for Enhance UK, but I'll talk about that later because it's a pretty cool picture that I'll show you. And now I'm currently at the University of East London as the event manager. So I look after Freshers Fortnight, or I did do at the SU. I'm now looking after graduations, big festivals, education festivals, and awards ceremonies and all of that. And Pride in London as well is what I do voluntary. So yeah, busy bee, but I like to keep busy. But I'll talk all about Pride in London a little bit later on. So this is just a bit of a mini collage of all of the things that I've said there. These are the physical events that I've done over the years, but these are all now going virtual. This is all possible. This is all doable. And when COVID hit, the events industry, we could have sat there, we could have cried, we could have been like, no, this is not going to happen for us. But with a little bit of creativity, the right platform, you can do any of these. So in the top corner, we've got convocation/graduation. This will all be going virtual now. This is what I'm working on. We had a winter wonderland that I developed at UEL. That will all be going online. So a live Santa Claus right there in your living room. We have the Royal Docks Festival with Professor Green. This is all happening now with artists and performers all doing social media live streams. And because we're all in the same boat now, we can get people like this for free. And I'll teach you how a little bit later on. So yeah, what are the positives apart from the things that I've just been saying? So the global and local, or glocal, a brand new word that I've made up, the reach that we can do is unparamount. So with our physical events, we could be confined to our campuses. We could be confined to a meeting room, a boardroom. But with a virtual event, this can go as far as you want it to go. And I'll keep repeating myself with the sentence where I say everybody's in the same boat at the minute. And I know we keep hearing it from all the politicians, but it's true. So everybody is wanting to help everybody out. And that's whether they're giving money, that's whether they're giving their time for free. These people that you might have thought were out of reach, the big companies, the big sponsors, the performers, the more famous people, they're all here to help. So make sure that we're reaching out with our events to make it local. Higher attendance. I don't know about you, whether you've done your virtual events yet, but for me, physical events at the university were going fantastically well, but as soon as we started to do our virtual events, so I'll say about the LGBT staff network, we'd range about 40, I'd say, in a physical capacity. When we started to do more virtual events, that ramped up and doubled. That went up to over 100, which is fantastic. And virtual events are here to stay, so we really need to get a hold of this now. So yeah, you can increase your attendance. You can reach an audience you've not reached before, because people are more comfortable in the setting of their own home now. They've had time to think and explore about what they want to do post-COVID. They'll be wanting to learn more and interact more, so you can reach them audiences. It's cost effective. I'll talk a little bit later about the platforms that you can use at a limited cost. Some are free. If you have a little bit of budget with your society or RAG or your SU or university, then I'll talk about some platforms that you can use with a little bit more of a budget. But overall, it's cost effective. It's a time saver. Anyone that works in events will know if you're physically setting up an event, that's, you know, loading in 2 days before, that's running around getting each department to come on board, each student, making sure. With virtual events, that is a time saver. Yes, you do have that element where you need to check on people to make sure all the tech's right, but it is a massive time saver, so it's a really good positive there. It's easier to make connections. I'm here now, and I've met Jamie and I've met Becky, and hopefully I'll meet you in the coffee sessions, and that probably would have never have done that before if it wasn't for a virtual event. So it's really easy to spread your network and get your name and get what you're about out there to everybody, and feedback as well. We all need feedback to improve, and this is so easy, so much easier to obtain, which I'll discuss later with many platforms that we can use virtually. So I've gone on about positives. I'm so positive, but why? Why don't we just wait for these physical events to come back? Why do we have to bother? You know, why do we have to, you know, be staring at our screen all the time? You know, I've said about increasing attendance. This is going to be accessible to more. I'm going to touch on accessibility, and, you know, just because everything is virtual now, we still really need to make sure that our events are accessible to all. And there's many hints and tips that we can do to achieve that. Regularity builds trust. So with virtual events, we can do more of them. In a physical capacity, of course, say we could run 3-4 events across a fortnight, let's say, of a really good quality and really good high attendance. With these virtual events, we can still do that, but we can do it more. And with that brings large followings. As you know, previous events and the virtual events I'm running now with Pride show that we can generate more fundraising revenue. Of course, you can initially start out by generating a buzz and generating that initial feel of what your event is about. But as soon as you have that trust and that large following, that's when you can start to charge people for maybe the quiz nights that you want to do, the karaoke nights. You know, it's about gaining that trust first and then using that to your advantage. Building large audiences fast, absolutely. As I said, I only thought 5 people would show up to this one, and now hopefully you've not dropped out and we're at 48. So within that space of 2 minutes, that's how the audiences can build up with great promotion and a great concept for your event. Big companies want to sponsor. As I've said, I will keep repeating, everybody's in the same boat, but everybody wants to help. For them sponsors that you thought were out of reach, you know, go and approach them. There is no harm in asking. Be cheeky. It's how I've got to where I am, by asking questions. It's where I am today, presenting to you guys, because I give Josh Dickinson a nudge and said, can I present at this? So be cheeky, ask the questions, and you'll get the answers that you want. This is a chance for us to be a leader in our field now. Virtual events are here to stay. You know, whether we want to go back to physical, which of course we do, because people in events, we love to interact with people, but virtual events are here to stay, and there are so many positives to that. So let's grab hold of them now, and let's be a leader within your society, within your university, within your SU. If you can get a hold of this, you're going to be leaders in your field. One way or multiple, this is relating to streaming, of course. So this is very generic kind of things, but as what I'm discovering as I'm running virtual events, there are so many different platforms that are offering you the world. You've probably got many in your inboxes right now. But one way streaming is really good for what this is now. You know, if there's a lot of information to gather, this is what the Zoom webinar presentation is now. This is great for that. And then after, we can have a networking session. For board presentations, official speeches, the one-way streaming is a good way to go down. But if you want that interactive element, so you want that camaraderie, you want that banter, you want that you want to see what people's faces are when you're reacting, when they're reacting to something that you're saying, then the multiple way is the way forward. And this is your things with your festivals, with your quiz nights, which I'm sure we're all sick of right now. But there are many other things we can do. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But graduations, well, I'm looking at the minute at doing a virtual interactive graduation. It's so exciting to still, even though we can't hat toss in person, we will be doing it virtually. Parades, open days, all of these things are better multiple, and I'm going to talk about the platforms now that can help you achieve that. So what platforms can you use with a limited budget? So if you're a RAG society or you're an SU university and money's tight at the minute, which of course always is, there are so many platforms out there that you'll probably be familiar with. If you're not, there's some here that might not be. There's plenty more, and I'm happy to share the information and the masses of documents that are sent to me on all these if anybody is interested in any of these further. But I'll talk through a few of them. So we've got Teams Live. So we all know Microsoft Teams, which is a little bit like Zoom, but it's more used in a professional context. Well, Teams Live is an addition to that, and we all have access to it if you have Microsoft Teams. This is a one-way live broadcasting feed, and it's up to 20,000 attendees that can be used. So Teams Live, Teams meetings only allows up to 300 as of yesterday. Teams Live allows up to 20,000. It's a one-way streaming, so you don't have that interactivity that I talked about before, but it really does allow a numerous amounts of presenters. You have like a producer studio, so where you have like a green room where you can be the producers, and then you have the presenters. It's a really nice kind of addition to the Teams meeting if you're looking to kind of upscale for your official kind of events or speeches. This is free. This doesn't cost any money at all, and it's just about having to play around with it. If you go into your Teams meetings calendar, Teams Live is all there, ready and set up to go. Event Builder is then an additional add-on to Teams Live and Teams meetings. This offers you a registration space for your events. So you might have your intranets, your Moodles, you might have your landing SU pages where you can host your registration pages. But if you're going to a wider, external, global, local audience, Event Builder is fantastic for providing that registration page, registration space and kind of cloakroom area where you can get everybody's details together and send out individual links to people. This again is free with Teams Live and Microsoft Teams, dependent on the amount of people that you want to be in there. Flipgrid is a fantastic tool as well, a little bit like Google Hangout and Meets, which we'll all have on our Android phones for those who have Androids like me, not up with iPhones yet. Flipgrid is there. It's a one-way 250 attendees visibility, and this again is free. You can download this in any of the app stores, and it's a nice little tool if you're on the go and you just want that initial startup virtual event to happen. And then Facebook and Instagram are doing rooms now, which you've probably all seen, where you can create your own room. This is multiple interactive way. It's up to 100 plus at the minute, but Facebook are running some amazing sessions on these rooms and what they're doing post-COVID to create that interactivity element for companies, businesses, societies, RAGs, SUs. So make sure that you look up Facebook. If you just type in Facebook training sessions, they're running a lot of free ones at the minute. So that might be nice to check out. If you have a little bit of budget in your RAG account, in your society account, in your SU, if you badger them for this, there's a lot more kind of wider platforms that can be used to create that interactive element that we'll all be looking for. Some that I have sat through, the many demonstrations I've sat through are here. Again, if you need any more information on this further, I'm happy to provide all of this for you so you don't have to, sit through all of these yourself. We've got WebEx, which is an American company, but they link into any current platform that you would be using within your SU, as your society, as an individual. They will link in with anything. So they link in with Periscope, Teams, Zoom. And what they do is they create that two-way interactivity, but more of an interactive element. So they can provide different networking rooms. They can switch between different rooms. It isn't just one bog standard tiled room that you would normally see in your Zooms or your Microsoft Teams. They can create all them registration aspect spaces that I was talking about previously. And they're a really good tool, and they're £22.50 per month, which it might sound like a lot, but with what they can offer you, it's a fantastic way to just latch onto an already existing platform. We've got Hoover, which is weird. Hoover, that's not good in my northern accent, is it? It's a multiple way streaming, and it's integrated with Zoom, this one. This allows a lot more attendees than WebEx. So if you are looking to reach them global and local audiences, this would be a fantastic way to go. Again, this is costly, but it does provide you with feedback surveys. It links into your social media accounts. It allows live polling, live chat and registrations, breakout rooms. The world is your oyster with this. Zoom webinar, which is what I'm using now, which is fantastic. Again, you have that interactive element with the host at the top, and then this can be used kind of for your official speeches. And then Blackrock Media, which the University of East London are hopefully partnering up with for the interactive graduation. This is a multiple one-way. 1,000 students can be on screen at once on a rotating like, what we call it, like a carousel, if you will. This is bespoke, so obviously the pricing does depend on what your needs are, but this is for a wider SU capacity. So if you want to continue with all of the societies and sports clubs running these virtual events, these guys are the way to kind of talk to and get your SU on board. Again, I've got a lot of information about this, so I'll provide this with you later. To be accessible. So just because now virtual events are online, it doesn't mean we still don't think about how we can cater to all of the people that we need to. So I categorize accessibility into 3 categories. So we need to think about people who suffer with mental health, specific learning disorders, and physical disabilities as well. So things to think about when we're thinking about mental health is trigger warnings. So if you're running a talk and it might be on a sensitive subject, you need to make sure that trigger warnings are present in your promotion. They don't have to be in big and bold, they don't have to be, but we need to make sure people know what they're joining into. They know what the talk's going to be about. They're not going to be surprised by any element of it. This can be a little paragraph in your social media posts. This can be a little kind of star, kind of small italic writing at the bottom of posters, leaflets, whatever you want, but make sure that we're letting people know what they're in for. Language and banter. You know, this is something that's learned the hard way by a lot of people, you know, in events and presenting. You know, not everybody has the same language or has the same banter. I've used some terrible jokes throughout this, you know, but it's about catering that and making sure you know what your audience is, because we don't want people to be offended by stuff that we say or do. And participation, how are we interacting with people? If you are in a more interactive, using a platform that's more interactive and you can see people's faces, how are we interacting with them? Are we calling people out on the spot if there's questions to be asked? Are we calling out a group? You know, let people come to you. You know, let people, make people feel a part of the event and try not to single people out in that way. Specific learning disorders, so if we take, say for example, dyslexia, make sure your presentations are friendly for them. So font size 12 is usually preferred, an Arial font, and the use of too much colour as well. Try and stick to 1 or 2 colours at best. Participation, can everyone communicate easily? Subtitles are a really great thing for this, which YouTube offer a free service, and I'll show you in a slide a little bit later about a company that can provide you with accessibility tools for Microsoft Teams, Zoom and WebEx too, and they're free tools to use. Resources, make sure that you've got transcripts or you've got the webinar, you're recording it like this is now, that can be sent out after, because not everybody, let's face it, learns at my speed, because I'm going 100 miles an hour, so we'll need to go back to certain things that are said. So make sure you've got them kind of resources after that you can send out to people to learn in their own time. Physical abilities as well, we need to take into consideration with virtual events. As I've said, YouTube offer the software of free subtitling in real time, and it's not always accurate, but it is there and it is something that you can use. As I've said, there are different tools that can be linked into Teams, Zoom and WebEx, which I'll tell you the company that will do that for you later. Lighting is so important. We've all struggled trying to get the good lighting so we look good, or you know, we don't see things in the background that we shouldn't, but lighting is really important for people that struggle that you know, that need to read lips, that need to follow the webinars, the virtual events. So make sure that lighting is always good, and allow additional time. It's always fantastic if you give time to, whether it's a presenter, whether it's a speaker, whether it's just you and your team coming together before an event, just to make sure, you know, all the tech's working, you know, any shortcuts that are going to make your life easier throughout the event. We all know tech fails us at times, and make sure that all your screens are compatible with the audience and attendees. Just giving that additional time to the audience really makes them feel a part of something special, and they'll keep coming back to your event. And always remember that you can gain all of this information, whether you need to do any of this additional information, by simply asking the question at the start of registration for any event. And that's just asking, have you got any accessibility needs? And that gives you time to prepare any of what I've just said in time for the event. So Enhance the UK. So this picture here is a picture of my bum. So I worked for Enhance the UK and still do, and I raised over £3,000 for them in fundraising by doing various different events such as climbing the O2, running marathons and up mountains in Serbia, did Lego firewalks. Don't do that without socks, it's horrendous. And then so what I said to try and boost money, and I'm not saying that any of you have to do this, because I'm probably having a moment. I said if I raised over 3,000, I would get the charity tattooed to me, and I would get anybody who had donated, I'd put all their names in a hat, pull the name out, and I would get them to my bum. So I've now got Enhance the UK and Jenny on my bum. So that's there for life. But that's how much dedication I have to Enhance the UK. They're doing a fantastic work. And this is the company that you need to contact if you have any of them accessibility requirements linking into Teams or Zoom, any of them platforms. They've done all the research on it, and on their website enhancetheuk.org, they'll provide you with all of the information that you can to get all of them subtitling and all of the edits in there. And also Jenny, the CEO, is fantastic, so if you are struggling around accessibility, they'll be able to help you. Be inclusive. I'm probably preaching to the choir here because you're all doing amazing stuff anyway, but making sure that you don't just stick to one kind of event for your RAG or your society. Don't just do club nights. You can do virtual club nights now, which are fantastic. But don't just stick to club nights. Don't just stick to academic talks or campaigns. Be varied, because you want to appeal to everybody at that university. And the way you're going to do that is by holding different inclusive events. You can do this by, you can see here, we've got campaigns. You can wear wigs and go in boats, but obviously at 2 meters social distance. You can do still all of this virtually, because you can live stream physical events now, which is another fantastic way of having who you need there at a physical event. Not allowing people to watch or whatever, but you having the main core people there. You can physically live stream events now, to get back your sanity if you really like putting on events. Like, I can't wait to get back down to London and run these kind of events. So make sure that you're catering to all of the different genders, be inclusive of the LGBT plus community, and then how you can do this as well is how you approach this communication and advertising via social media. So we can do our Instagram posts, our Facebook posts, but there are so many different interactive elements that you can do now. You can create bitmojis of yourself or avatars. That's all on the rage on WhatsApp now, I'm told. But I was created into a bitmoji at the University of East London for our clearing campaign. So when the out of office when staff weren't around in the out of office hours and students were kind of coming to us, there was me that would pop up in a bitmoji form, like, hi everybody. You can create that and have that as kind of a blanket kind of response to certain social media aspects, or have that as an additional thing that you do already. GIFs are massive right now. Of course, TikTok has probably taken over most of our lives in lockdown. So being creative and being a leader and being inspirational in these kind of interactive social elements now is all what's going to set you apart when it comes to virtual events. And Mentimeter as well is a fantastic tool that I use throughout presentations to interact the audience. So on Zoom webinar right now, I could flash up the Mentimeter. I should have done that actually in this. Let's skip over that. But Mentimeter is fantastic for interactive kind of live questioning. All it is that your attendees will download an app, you'll give them a code, and then questions will flash up, and it's like fastest finger first. It's like a bit of a game show. So Mentimeter is fantastic, and it's free as well. So if you're looking for something to be interactive throughout your event, or not just to have your face as you're asking quiz questions, Mentimeter is fantastic for that. So virtual events, what could I do? So I've mentioned loads of things that we've done in the past, and anything is possible via these, but speed friending and dating and take me out. I did this recently for Pride in London. Instead of no lighty, you turn the light off on your Zoom or your Microsoft Teams camera, and that shows that you're not interested. Ooh, it was brutal, but it was good. Everybody had a really good night. Karaoke, you can still have these kind of nights virtually. Lucky Voice do an online version which is free for karaoke. And it's fantastic. You can link up with your buddies online and sing the night away. The Oldie But Goodie quiz nights, I know we're probably all sick of this. We've all done them before, but it is a good way to raise some revenue, and it's quick and easy, but be creative with it. So do like a rock and roll style bingo quiz. If you don't know what rock and roll bingo is, there is a company that provides you with music instead of numbers. So it'll be guess the title, guess the band, but you have to stand up and dance and sing it at the top of your voice. It's another a really good interactive way than your bog standard bingo or quiz nights. Fitness classes have been all the rage, of course. We've either gone one way or the other. We've gone really, really thin, or we've piled on the pounds in all the crisp and wine that we've eaten. I know what I've done, which is the latter, but what I've been doing is drag aerobics for Pride in London, which has been fantastic. So, you know, everybody's wanting into mindfulness and yoga and all of this, but try and introduce a fun element, link up with your sports teams and do some kind of fun, interactive, you know, inter-society collaborations, collaborations with these people, and try and make some fun with it. Also, you have your watch parties with Netflix and chill. And as I've said, you can live stream your physical events as well. You know, if you're sticking to your 2 meter social distancing rules, live streaming physical events can be fantastic. So yeah, Pride in London. So I've talked all about kind of virtual events now, but Pride in London is something that I've been working on. We launched a virtual event site called Coming Out. This was pre-lockdown, and then it was aptly named to Staying In throughout lockdown. So it's Coming Out, Staying In, and this is hosting all virtual events for LGBT community. That's what its purpose was pre-lockdown, but this has become so much more throughout lockdown, because this is now a hub where everybody is wanting to post their events to reach out, not just to the LGBT community, not just to the London community, to the wider global aspect of his community, and it has absolutely taken off. If you or your society, whether you're based in London, whether you're not, and you want to have your event published, this is free. All you need to do is contact me, and all my details are at the end, and we can help you out with this. If you think you've got an event for the LGBT community that you want to do, but you're not really sure what to do, get in touch and let's help you, because this is a free, fantastic platform that will really get your name out there and brand. So if you just search Staying In Pride in London, I want to click on it, but it might just like go off the screen completely. So let's not do that. All of the information is there in the website. So please do get in touch if you have any questions about that. Through Pride in London, I've managed to do some amazing things. As I've said, reaching out to them people that you thought were unreachable in these times is you know, the best thing that's come out of this. My events have been featured in The Independent, in Marie Claire. I've worked with, you know, some X Factor stars, maybe some Z-listers, but going up to your A RuPaul drag stars as well, and your A-star performers too. And this is all made possible, you know, through lockdown and everybody wanting to help each other out. So it's been a fantastic experience, and to have communication with people at The Independent and Marie Claire, you know, I can provide you with all of this contact if you're wanting to get some kind of comms out there about some fantastic events that you're doing. I'm happy to share this information and contact information with you. To let you know about Pride in London, we've recently launched a Unity Fund. So due to COVID and the pandemic, a lot of LGBT communities, projects, you know, bases of support for the LGBT community have sadly had to either fall to the wayside or are struggling now. The Unity Fund is going to help these projects and organisations back up and running after COVID-19. It provides a one-off grant to grassroots organisations, and it's match funded by Facebook. So anything that we can raise within this time, Facebook will match that, and we can offer much more support to the LGBT community. So if you're thinking about what charities you can support, or you're wondering, you know, who's in dire need right now, you know, there are so many fantastic charities out there, but please consider, you know, Unity Fund to be up there with one of them. It can help projects advance communities for the LGBTQ. It allows emergency funding for the projects. But what we don't fund the salaries and the legal fees. We aren't that kind of fund. It's about really injecting that support and that information and advice that the LGBTQ society will definitely need post-COVID. So the Unity Fund is a brand new concept, but we've been running now for about 6 weeks. But anything, if you think you can do to help, would be fantastic. Other RAG, LGBT and RAG charities, I'm not just going to fly the flag for Pride in London as well. There are so many. So we've got the Unity Fund. You've probably heard of some of these as well. We've got ELOP, which is looking after LGBT community and mental health. So that really looks at kind of, the young, or all kinds of the LGBT community, and offering counselling, information, advice. They're a fantastic charity that a lot of big brands, that a lot of, you know, law firms, they all kind of support ELOP, and it's a fantastic cause, so please do look them up. Terence Higgins and Positive East all centre around raising awareness around AIDS and HIV. Now you might be thinking, you know, why should this be kind of prevalent right now? Yeah, HIV and AIDS is very much a taboo subject, but the ones that the increase at the minute in HIV and AIDS and those contracting it is 20 to 24 years of age. And that is a massive bracket within the university sector. And that's because of lack of awareness. So Terence Higgins and Positive East do some fantastic fundraising events. They do Red Run Days where people dress up in all their finest glitter and they run around, fun, or walk or sashay, whatever they want to do. They do all of this, and they did it, I think, about just before lockdown. They raised £150,000. This was Positive East, which is a little East London-based charity. But these really do raise awareness about what is a taboo subject, but it is really prevalent because of the age range for universities. And Stonewall Housing, again, is another fantastic charity. They help rehome LGBT individuals who have faced their parents or their friends or their family kicking them out because they're gay, which is absolutely boggles the brain, for loving someone of the same sex that even happens nowadays. But Stonewall Housing help, combat that fear that people face, help rehome people, and help provide, that celebration of their identity again. So that's another fantastic charity. Pride in London as well, if you saw over the weekend, did a virtual Pride on the biggest kind of advertising screen in London. I'll give you 10 points if you can spot my face on there. And they also did a 30,000 acts of allyship, which is still running. So 30,000 people join the parade each year. They march, they celebrate, they shout about, the great things that it is to be LGBT. Obviously, we couldn't do that in person this year, but the 30,000 acts of allyship is your chance to say what you want to do to support the LGBT community, whether that's you're going to join an LGBT society, whether you're going to run a virtual event for LGBT, whether you're going to donate to the Unity Fund. It's free to donate your act of allyship. You just need to say what that is and give us the support that you need. A lot of prides are doing this as well. Brighton Pride are doing a virtual one. Manchester as well are doing a lot of virtual events for Pride, and they're doing lots of workshops as well for age ranges between 16 to 28. So it's fantastic. All of the prides are kind of clubbing together in this time. So please do check out your local pride, and I'll do my best to answer any questions you have if you're not from any of them areas as well. One of the big, and what I'll end on now, is one of the biggest virtual events that's happening. And if you know of anybody or you would like to be involved in this as a society or your RAG or as your SU, then please do let me know. DigiProm is going to be a virtual event that is going to be for school leavers, apprentices, college grads, university people that have missed out on their graduations, just celebrating in general, being with their friends or passing an award or a degree. It's their chance to come together for one night for a digital prom, which is being hosted by Mo Gilligan, which is the comedian, which we'll see on Channel 4 regularly. And it is going to be a 3-hour after party. So we've got various different celebrity performers coming down. This is a free event. I should have said that first and foremost before I lost you. This is a free event, and we're looking for students with inspiring stories to come forward and tell us how you've got through this pandemic, why it's important to you to have this celebration now because we can't be together physically. If you want to be a part of that and be a part of DigiProm, then do let me know at the end and I'll get you involved. And then I think the last slide is just a cheeky plug of a blog post that I did for NASFA. If you want to know kind of a bit more about my journey as an LGBTQ woman, how about Pride and how Pride Month kind of affects the LGBT community, then please do check out NASFA's socials. They really kindly posted my first ever blog, which hopefully went down really well. So yeah, please do check that out. And then these are just my contact details here. I've got 2 emails. If you want to speak to me about anything about Pride, any queries around that, then please do let me know by this email, and any university queries relating to, events that I've done over the 55 years that I've been doing it, then I'm more than happy to help you. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Carly. I'm going to speak on behalf of everybody and say that was really, really, really interesting perspective, but also
thank you very much.
Is real helpful. I didn't know about half those platforms, so
that's
good.
Really thank
good.
You.
And I think make your slides available, can't we? And there's also a recording of the entire session, Absolutely. Which will be available as well. I believe that we're going to put it on YouTube as NASFA, but also Organised Fun will be doing something with it after the festival as well.
Absolutely.
I've got one question.
Yeah.
There is one question. It's quite a long one.
I can see it from Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel from Imperial College London. So basically, how are you deciding which events are worth so virtual kind of way of doing it, and which ones should just be stopped in person?
Absolutely. So at the minute, I'm planning for both scenarios. So we're planning to have physical events still happen for September when students are back, and also the physical element as well. So also, when you're planning the physical, it's about not having, as bad as it seems to say from an events perspective, it's about not having that audience participation. Have who you need on campus at one time and physically live stream it out. You know, have the hosts, have your society, whoever it is there, have them with the 2 meter social distancing in place, with all the necessary hand sanitizing, face coverings, everything that we now need. But make sure that you can still host them. You just need to put these implementations in place. But make sure that you're planning your physical events. So it's not about saying what's more important. It's about how we can do it all, because we can. This doesn't stop anything COVID-19. Yeah, it puts a little bit of a pin and an attack in it, but it doesn't stop us and shouldn't stop us from still continuing to do our physical events. Just do not put people in danger by saying, yes, 1,000 people come to this club night. You know, live stream a DJ, live stream an act, live stream a performance, have who you need there. But it's about, we can cater for it all, as I've said. So make sure, just be creative with it. You can do anything. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Carly. I think that did answer the question. I think there's another question on here as well about a link. From what I can remember, it's on Facebook, isn't it? There's quite a presence on Facebook for DigiProm.
Yeah, absolutely. The Facebook, yeah. Is it the training? Sorry, you broke up then, Becky.
DigiProm.
DigiProm?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So Digital Prom will be live streamed on YouTube. It's a free event. If you're wanting to be involved as a student or a society or RAG, then please do get in touch with me and we can get your inspirational stories. We can get you involved in something on that day, because we're looking for student stories to showcase throughout, because this is your day. But if you know anybody as well that's graduating, whether it's your little sister, whether it's your big sister, big brother, then do get them in touch with us. But Digital Prom is, if you follow the class of 2020 on any social media, DigiProm, all the information is there for you.
That's great. And Jamie's just popped and said that we actually have a session tomorrow evening. So there you go.
Perfect.
We cover it all. Lovely. So I think if there's no more questions, oh no, wait a minute, there's something else in the chat. B from Bournemouth, originally from Manchester. Would you ticket the events or ask for donations or make participation free and just ask people to take calls? What do you think the best way to do that is?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as I said at the start, I think if you initially are starting out with virtual events, you want to get that large following. So make sure that it's kind of maybe accessible and free at the start, and then little bits that you do throughout it, whether you do a quiz, whether it's karaoke, whether it's a talk, get people to donate, get people invested in you first, let them know what you're about, let them know the causes you're a part of, get the causes involved in the charities you have, and then you can get people, once you've built that trust, and everyone loves a free event these days, as long as you can get them in that, then I'd say recommend that if it's a very first virtual event that you're doing, and then you can charge people from there.
Any questions? We've still got about 3 or 4 minutes. Anyone wants to ask Carly about anything really? No? Okay, if not, I think if we move to the, so I put in chat table in the coffee shop where we can carry on some of the conversation in here. It was really, really interesting, and genuinely thank you, Carly, so much. And thank you for bloggers for NASFA.
Thank you guys, it was fantastic. Thank you, Becky and Jamie.
Carly, I think we'll just wait for Janice to put it, and then everyone can kind of migrate to the coffee shop.
If I go off?
Yeah, you can go off and leave, and I think that Jamie will still be able to save the recording.
Cool. Thanks.